I'm very excited. I'm somewhere I've wanted to visit for a really long time. Now, my favorite movie as a kid was this.
Houston, we have a problem.
I love it. Every time I watch it, I still don't know if they're gonna get home, even though I know the ending. That line, "Hello, Houston."
This is Honesty. It's good to see you again.
I love it. Everybody cheers. I get the chills every time I see it. Anyway, look where we are. It's a freaking space shuttle. So we're down here in Huntsville, Alabama at the, I think it's called the U.S. Air and Space Center. So excited, like I said. Apollo 13 and the Saturn V rocket and all the space missions have been one of the things I've loved since I was a kid. So we're gonna go inside and I'm gonna take you guys with me. My biggest concern is that I would come here and NASA would see how good I was at this claw game and they would want to hire me. I'm busy, I can't, I'm sorry, but I'm really, really flattered, guys, really. Well, this is the coolest thing in the world. I am in a replica of the International Space Station. So right now we're in what they call like the US lab portion of it. So you can see these are the control panels. This is actually way bigger than I thought it would be. You always think of a spaceship as like a couple of phone booths put together just because that's what they say in the movies. But I'm 5'6", I can't even touch the ceiling standing straight up, which I know isn't saying a whole lot, but like arm to arm is probably how wide these hallways are, which is still pretty big. And then they have huge areas here. Check this out. This is called the cupola. On the space station, it's actually the real window that they can look at to see into space. For all you runners out there, this is the treadmill, and she said that one of the astronauts in 2011 ran the Boston Marathon on the treadmill. So they do like between 1 and 2 hours of working out a day, something like an hour of cardio, and then 30 or 40 minutes of resistance training, which is pretty wild. Here, which is pretty awesome, is like their sleep chamber. I don't actually know what they call it. I'm sure it's not called the sleep chamber. But they said they have like 2 laptops in there. One's for business, one's for pleasure. And on the pleasure one, you can actually like Skype or FaceTime your family, but it's only at dial-up speed, which I thought was pretty wild considering all the like communications power they have up here. If you wondered how they went to bathroom in space, this is actually the toilet that they would use. It's not the actual toilet, it's a replica. Pretty wild. I did not know that they had this here. It was very cool to see how big it actually is and just to kind of be inside it. So we're here in what's called Saturn V Park, and you can see behind me, looks like the Saturn V rocket, and then this is pretty cool. They have like a moon crater, so you can actually go in what I think that thing is called the LEM, like the Lunar Excursion Module, but they have like a miniature moon crater. Guys, you don't even know. The moon crater here, they have a way to manipulate the gravity. It's like you're actually on the moon. Check this out. What? It's crazy. Ready? I'll turn it off. This place is wild. Even if you don't like space, this is pretty impressive. Now, this is one of the space shuttles here. I learned a cool fact inside, and that was that the space shuttle program is actually designed so that they could construct the International Space Station. Now, the space station is pretty much done, which is why they no longer have a need for the shuttle program. I know I heard like in the past that they tried to revive the program or keep it going, but I think it was deemed too expensive, and since it was actually designed just to construct the space station, it fulfilled its duty, and unfortunately, they're no longer sending them into space. Just to give you guys an idea of where we are, this place is called Saturn V Hall, and behind me you can see this Saturn V rocket. And There's an entire rocket in this building. It's like a huge warehouse. And it looks like on the floor here they have the numbers, which I guess corresponds to the stages that the rocket takes as it shoots the astronauts up into space. And it's pretty cool. You like walk under it to get all the way down to the end here, and then the last thing is this, which I think is the LEM, Lunar Excursion Module, which is what astronauts used to use to land on the moon. This is pretty cool. This is the command module. You might have seen it here. And this is what the astronauts used back on the Apollo days and probably some of the other missions. This is how they got back. And there's a heat shield at the bottom, so this command module will basically drop from space, drop through the Earth's atmosphere, back into the water. There had to be a heat shield at the bottom because as it goes through the Earth's atmosphere, it gets really, really, really hot. And this is what protects the astronauts from the heat of the Earth and, well, really like the heat of re-entry. This is cool. I always see it in movies, and it was cool to see, I guess, a mock-up version in person, but this is an underwater astronaut trainer, and it looks like this. It's like... So it's actually an underwater environment, and what happens is the astronauts wear weights on their suits, so it makes them what they call neutrally buoyant, at least that's what the description says. So it makes them feel as if they're actually in space. It's the closest you can come on Earth to being in a space atmosphere, and what it does is it allows them to test, they can actually fit spacecraft in there, they said, but it allows them to test tools, experiments, things like that, and see how things function in the sort of like zero gravity environment that exists in space. I'm a huge nerd when it comes to space travel. Mostly like movies like Apollo 13 or The Martian. I just really enjoy it. I don't know what it is. Probably because Apollo 13 was my favorite movie as a kid, or maybe because Tom Hanks has never made a bad movie his entire life, and I love everything he's in. Whatever it is, I love it. I'm so excited that I got to check this out. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. If you like these videos, don't forget to tap like and hit the subscribe button.